Thanks for joining us, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Talking Ink with Urban Streetwear. Our next guest joins us all the way from Texas in the USA. She's been in Ink magazine, she's a H2 Ocean model, and has one of the coolest Japanese bodysuits you will ever see. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the amazing Rachael Avenue. Rach, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Now, we came across you a while back on Instagram, and you have one of the most colourful, detailed Japanese bodysuits that we've ever seen. But I guess your story is a little bit different to everybody else because, from what I understand, you've spent 200 hours under the needle in just under a year to get that completed. Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
Absolutely. It's actually, I'm hitting around 700 hours at this point.
Wow.
So the first year I started getting tattooed in January 2014. I was 31 at the time. I didn't have any tattoos prior. And I just wanted to go get a tattoo one day. So I went in and I got this little feather. And the next thing you know, I ended up with a 4-foot back piece. And it just kind of went from there. Every Thursday, I would go from open to close. Russ Bagwell out of Houston, Texas, did most of my suit. And I would sit for 12 hours a day, once a week, until it was finished. So I just threw myself into it, and that's what I did. And now I'm covered.
That's an insane amount of time to be sitting for, which It raises a very interesting question then. Obviously, with a full bodysuit, what area have you found the most painful to get tattooed?
Definitely my torso. My stomach was brutal. My chest was no fun. But honestly, the most painful tattoo I've ever gotten was my palms. I had my palms done, and that was torture.
Okay.
But I wouldn't take it back. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the whole suit looks absolutely fantastic.
Well, thank you.
No problem. When you're not working on tattoos, what other mediums do you work in?
I have several degrees. I went to college for a long time and didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I ended up in graphic design. So I'm a graphic designer, freelance. And then I have my master's in international business. So I have my BA in graphic design and my MA in international business. So I just brand companies. I design logos, websites, anything and everything a company needs. That's what I do besides modeling and my tattoo work.
Cool. Now, how did you decide on your artist? When you originally started this journey, how did you go about deciding on the artist that you were going to get to do your suit?
You know what? I didn't know anything about tattoos. I didn't know between a good artist and a bad artist, honestly. I kind of just fell into Russ's hands at his tattoo shop, and his Japanese work was beautiful. And he mentioned, what do you think about a Japanese bodysuit? And I didn't even question him. I just trusted him from the get-go. I've never chosen a single piece on my body. I let him create the whole suit his own. And I just, once he got started, I knew that was the artist where I needed to be. Now that I'm no longer in Houston and I'm in Lubbock, I did have to find a new artist, and now I go see Trey Calderon, and he owns Black Door Studio, and his Japanese is also just totally amazing. And he's, doing my left leg. So after that, I will be officially done. But finding a right tattoo artist, it's more of if you click with that artist. Don't always just look at a portfolio. The portfolio can be anything, but if you click with an artist and that artist knows what you want, how you want it done, you're going to end up with good work.
Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Now, you've been featured in a lot of different magazines. What's been some of the highlights of your tattoo career?
Oh, I love it when Ink has me, puts me up. They always list me as one of the women with the most impeccable ink, and I always think that's such an honor. Some of the big highlights were Vape Magazine. I loved doing that one. That was a huge deal for me. Fuse was a big one for me. I really like the high-end editorials. So, I try to stray away from typical tattoo magazines, I guess, in a sense. I'm very classy. I'm educated. I don't want to be portrayed as anything other than, just a smart girl with good tattoos.
Yep. So obviously,
I stand alone in the crowd.
Oh, that's good. So the leg's the final piece, obviously, in the next part of the journey.
It is. I have one more piece to add to it, and then the background, and it will be finished. So I have about a month left under the needle, and then I'm going to have about 80 years in front of me of getting touched up.
Fantastic. Can you describe yourself in a sentence?
Perfectly imperfect.
Fantastic.
Yes, that's about it.
Now, you obviously know a lot of people in the industry over there. Who should we talk to next?
I love my Stephanie Morazzo. I love my Pandora Blue. Illyria Jade is another great model. Simply X Exotic. She's phenomenal. She has a half Japanese bodysuit. She's out of Dallas, also in Texas. And she's a fitness queen, but she has a beautiful half Japanese bodysuit, and she's incredible. And those are the girls that I would definitely talk to.
Okay, cool. And final question, any last words, shout-outs, or special thanks?
Absolutely. Russ Bagwell at Royal Avenue Tattoo in Houston, he started this, and, without him, I would have never been where I'm at. My artist here, Trey Calderon, he's not only my artist, but my best friend. My father, who somehow accepted the fact that his daughter went and tattooed her whole body. My mother, my sister, my children, and my wonderful boyfriend. I just, I have a real big support system, and I love each and every one of them.
That's fantastic. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this week's episode of Talking Ink. It was great to have you on.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
No problem at all. Now, guys, join us again next week when we'll be having another interview, and we'll talk soon. Have a great week, everyone.